Girls, number forms. Tell me what we know.
So,
Standard form is one. What's another form?
expanded form.
Expanded form, but we have two kinds.
Fraction.
Unit form, expanded form with fractions, expanded form with decimals.
And word form.
Word form. Right now I want you to practice word form for 25 and 413 thousandths. Now, everybody say that number together. 25
and 413,000.
That's all you write. The word 20, the word 5, the word and. Keep going. Give it a try. Word form for 25 and 413 thousandths. Did she give you a bandage for that scrape? Okay. Okay, all I want you to do when you finish is to look up at mine and check yours with mine. How is word form different from unit form?
It just has words. Yeah.
No numbers, no numerals.
Yeah, no numbers and just words.
Right.
And some symbols.
Okay, double check yours with mine.
It's a cool word. It's thick. It's thick.
Notice where my only capital letter is. The very first number. The very first word. Yes. Okay, now here's what I told the other classes. Most of the time when adults pay their bills these days, we pay them online or we might use a debit card. Okay? Or we have them set up for an automatic payment that just comes out of our checking account. But what if I want to go buy a new car? You think they're going to let me use my debit card for a brand new car? Usually, it's better to write a check. So if you end up writing checks when you get to be a grown-up paying bills, these types of activities are going to help you because that's exactly how you write a check. Except you might put, of course you're not going to have 413 thousandths because you're going to be talking about money, okay? But that's going to help you. And so when you write a check, which word do you think you capitalize? Just the first one. Just the first word, okay? All right, so, oh, by the way, and if you buy a new car, a new house,
It costs a lot.
yeah, but you would probably get a loan and they would put it in your bank and then you would write a check, okay? So it would be a huge number that you would have to write. Do we practice writing huge numbers in word form at school? We do. You did last year quite a bit. A lot of times when I walked into Mrs. Hiddle's room, I would hear you doing word form, okay? So let's look at the place value chart. Now this number is 25 and 413 thousandths. Now, I'm not going to make you write it on a place value chart, but I need your complete attention up here. For each place value, I kind of want to label. What am I labeling with here? Numbers. Numerals. Why would I want to label with these numbers?
Because it's all the numbers that are in the value.
In the expanded form. In expanded form. Okay. So if we're talking copies of, how many copies do I have for the first number?
2.
And what place value?
10.
Okay, so I'm going back. And I'll just simply write 2 copies of 10 plus, okay, get going. Get going while I fix my multiplication sign. And what digit is next?
5 copies of the 100. No.
5 copies of,
One.
and should we go look real quick?
Yes.
1. See why it helps to put it on the place value chart? So 5 copies of 1 plus, now don't say it, just think it. What place value is the 4 in? You think it's tenths?
It's in the 100.
It's in the tenths. Okay? Later today we're going to make our own little mini place value chart to help us. Yeah. Okay, so the 4 is in the tenths place. So 4 copies of 1/10. I'm going to need you to keep that chair on the floor, please, and I'll tell you why. Because if it were to slip out from underneath you, the back of your head would hit on the corner of my desk. I don't feel like the emergency room or stitches today, please. Got it?
Match my little cousin.
No. Okay, what about the 1, boys and girls? What place value is it
It's
in?
in the hundreds place.
Hundreds. That's enough. If you ruin my video, you're going to come in after school and we're going to redo it. And you can be my one and only student. So there's expanded form fractions. Who remembers the only thing I changed to make expanded form decimals? Kaden.
Zeros.
Well, you're a little bit right. I'm going to have the same number of zeros, but are they in the same form? No, instead of in a fraction, they are in a decimal. That's where we get the word decimal. So when I write 100 as a decimal, I still have 2 zeros, but they're in different places. Now I noticed I changed 3 things. Everything else I write exactly the same as I did for the fractions. So go ahead and write that down now. Why don't I change 10 and 1? Anybody know why? Kaden?
Because they're whole numbers.
They're whole numbers. They're not fractions or decimals. So I don't have to change them. Good job. I like your answer. So here's what I want you to do starting today. Go ahead and do the work. Then look up at mine and see if you got it right. Okay, that's a very good habit to get into because then you're not Do I need to put a screen on this? Do the work. Then look up at mine and see if you got it right. If you're looking up at mine, you shouldn't be writing. You should already be done. Okay? Thank you. Oh! Thank you for not looking. Go ahead and write unit form if you think you can figure it out. It's kind of tricky though. I am going to tell you this. I do not want you to write 2 10s, 5 1s. We've got an easier way to do this. We have to match, or we have to mix digits with place value words. What do you think, Alondra? Let's keep 25 together. So 25 what?
25,000.
Rustin says ones. Let's see if I agree with him. So he's saying 25 ones comes before the decimal. Now if that rule I told you about, where the last digit I say is in the place value I say, is he right? 25 ones? He is. So we'll write 25 ones. And then what, Alondra? How will I do the next part of my unit form? Keep these numbers together. No, keep them together. 413. And what place value? Good. 413 thousandths. Okay, so that's a little bit of what we did yesterday, but we added a whole number. The whole number was 25. Okay. Moving down. This one says 404 thousandths.
Okay,
So do you see the word and?
no.
So my decimal isn't in between any of these numbers. So first of all, how do I write 404?
404.
Okay, so 404. Now if this 4 right here is in the thousandths place, what else does this number need?
A zero.
Let's put it on the place value chart and double check. I'm just going to draw a line. Okay. Just be glad it's not you. 404, so the last 4 is in the thousandths place. Were they right when they said a 0 and a decimal?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So 404 thousandths in standard form is written like that. Got it? Okay, now how many of you remember where this first 4 was? What place value was it in? Tenths. So 4 times 1/10 plus what? Do I need that 0?
No.
No.
Plus 4,000.
4 times 1,000. Oops. Now, I'm going to go back to the place value chart real quick. Is that correct? 4 copies of 1/10
Yes.
plus 4 copies of 1,000.
Yes.
Okay. So now how do I change that to decimal form?
You.
Go ahead and let Ella finish since she started. How do I change this to decimal expanded form?
You do it like.
I'm only going to change 2 things. What 2 things am I going to change, Ella?
You're gonna change the 0.
Well, no. You're going to change the fraction into a decimal. So in order to do that, you're right. You're going to move the 0. You don't have a fraction anymore, do you?
No.
Okay, how do I write 1,000, boys and girls?
0.
.000 what? Everything else stays the same. Okay, unit form. How do you say the number? Okay, so tell me what to write, Cooper.
404,000.
Well, we're not going to say and, are we? But did you mean these were the digits and thousandths is the word?
Yup.
Okay. You guys agree?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Now we're going to do a little bit trickier one. So don't write anything yet, or else you might be erasing. So the next one, no. On this today, I do not want you to work ahead. I want you to follow along with me, because on the problem set, I'm going to have you doing some on your own. Okay? So read this to me, boys and girls. 404 thousandths. How is this one different, Aubrey, than the one we just did?
Because it has an and in it.
You got it. It has the word and. And what does that mean? In math, a decimal. So this word will have, or this number will have a decimal. So here's what I want you to do. Everything that's in front of the word and goes in front of the decimal. What number goes in front of the decimal? 400. Everything that's after the word and goes after the decimal. How do you write 4,000?
400.
004. Okay, go ahead and write the number. Now we're going to try this without the place value chart. No, I don't think we are. Next one. So we've got 404 thousandths. So do I need to fill in a place value up here? Okay, so I'm going to write. I'm going to write 2 sets of parentheses. Because I don't need anything for all the zeros. So 4 copies of what? 100. And 4 copies of 1,000. Okay, 4 times 100 plus 4 times 1,000. Change that to decimal form. This time you only change one thing. I'm looking at yours. Okay, good. Now there's a couple ways we could do unit form. We could do 400 ones. I agree. We could do 400 ones, but let's just do 400s. No TH, because this is the hundreds place. And then 4 thousands.